Hello, my name is Miranda, and I wanted to talk to you today about doing some breathing exercises. So sometimes when I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed, I like to practice these deep core breaths or these deep core breathing exercises to help me relax and reconnect with my body. A lot of times these can be used before exercise to really wake up the core and get all the muscles working together properly. Breathing is really important during exercise, and it is also very important to incorporate throughout the day, especially when you are feeling stressed out or just not very settled, either in the morning or in the evening. So a lot of the times I like to use these exercises at least once a day, if I'm able to, twice throughout the day, maybe some in the morning and some in the evening. So today I wanted to show you how I connect to the core and to the pelvic floor through a breathing technique. So this breathing technique is called a max core breath, and for this technique you can do it laying on the ground on your back, or you can do it sitting on a yoga ball. It really just depends on you and how you feel more comfortable and how you can connect to feeling your core activation and your breathing through the diaphragm. So for this exercise, you will inhale through your nose for at least 2 to 3 seconds, and then on your exhale, you will breathe out through your mouth and hold that apnea for about 2 to 3 seconds while you're exhaling and pushing all your air out. So when you're pushing all of your air out, your core is contracting, everything is pulling together to try to push that air out, and then on your inhale, big inhale through your nose, your diaphragm is relaxing and getting all that air in, and you're trying to bring in air through your rib cage. And so when this happens, when you're inhaling through the nose, you're expanding the lungs and you're lengthening the pelvic floor and you're relaxing that area. And then on your exhale, you're contracting your pelvic floor and you're contracting your core together. And through this, you are strengthening your core, and also gives you that side effect of relaxation with that in-tune breathing and listening to your body, and really just taking that time to gather yourself and kind of settle and reconnect with yourself. So for these, usually you can do about 2 to 3 throughout the day. So you can do a few in the morning, like I said, you can do some in the afternoon, and you can do some in the evening. So once you start getting this technique down, you usually want to try to do these about like I said, 2 or 3 times, but give yourself a good 2 to 3 rest breaks in between to kind of catch your breath. Sometimes in the beginning you might feel like you can't expand your lungs, or you really can't feel that connection. So a lot of the times I will have you put your hands on your rib cage to really feel and get that tactile feedback that your rib cage is expanding. Or if you're laying on the ground, you're able to tell that your back is being pushed against the ground when you're inhaling. So I can show you 2 different ways to do this. And for the first one, I will show you on the floor in the position that you can be in. And sometimes if you're practicing this at home, you can do it in your sports bra or without a shirt on, and you'll be able to really see what your body is doing if you're having a hard time connecting and putting together the technique. So I will show you how to do it on the ground, and then I will show you how to change positions and kind of do it on the yoga ball and what you're looking for. Okay, so just a quick review. You want to inhale through the nose for as long as you can, thinking about extending that rib cage and having a 360 breath, so everything's expanding. And on your exhale, you want to push out through the mouth and try to push out all of your air without taking the breath in. And then when you finally push out all your air, you want to take a 2 to 3 second pause and of that apnea, because on your next inhale it's really going to help expand that diaphragm, because your body didn't have that air for 2 to 3 seconds. So it does take a little while. I don't want you to get frustrated, but trying to just practice even if it just starts with inhaling through the nose and out through the mouth. Sometimes closing your eyes or listening to relaxing music can help just really get you to connect to your core and your pelvic floor and get those things working together. A lot of the time this can help with pain, and it really does help me feel relaxed and help feel like my body is just so heavy and so relaxed and no tightness in the legs or anything like that. So just kind of play around with it. And like I said, even if you're just doing the inhaling through the nose and out the mouth, that has a lot of benefits in it. So I'm going to show you right now practicing on the ground. And if you don't have a yoga ball, that is okay. You can do this either sitting on a comfortable chair, sitting on the couch. The yoga ball just gives you that extra feedback in your pelvic floor area. When you're lengthening, you can kind of feel that feedback on the yoga ball, and that can kind of help you. But even in the beginning, if you just practice this sitting on a comfortable chair, sitting in your bed, you will still have some benefits to it. So same thing, sitting on the yoga ball, you can have your hands here on your rib cage. You can even have one here on your chest. The goal is not to do a chest breath, so where you're really inhaling and your chest is rising. You're really focusing on trying to inhale and expand your rib cage, expand your back area, and let your belly be full. Have a big belly raise, or belly expand as well. So hands here on your side. You're going to do a big inhale and you exhale. So doing some of those and repeating that throughout the day will definitely help, like I said, clear your mind and just have you get in tune with your body, kind of pushing everything out maybe that has been bothering you throughout the day, stress, fatigue, anything like that. Just really getting the time and connecting to your body will help with your posture, help with your breathing. The more you practice this, you feel a little bit better when you're doing exercise. You feel like you won't lose your breath as much, and you're using your core, so you won't you're preventing injury to your back, and most importantly, you're able to regulate a lot of that pressure that's in your abdominal area. So I feel that these exercises help me a lot. It's hard for you to see what I'm feeling, but if you take some of those cues and really try to practice, the biggest thing that has helped me is having my hands around my rib cage when I'm doing the inhale to feel those the rib cage expanding. Things that you want to avoid include arching your back when you're on the ground. You really want to keep a neutral spine and just kind of keep that back flat across the ground. So starting off, I would recommend practicing it on your back so you can get that feedback from the floor. Whether or not you're arching, and then progress from there. And you can kind of go into sitting from after you feel comfortable doing the exercises on your back. And also, if you feel like you're getting a little woozy or a little dizzy, that's a little normal, but really not trying to hold your breath, because that might be a sign that you're holding your breath somewhere where you shouldn't be, or somewhere that you're just kind of feeling the aftermath of that. So to recap, you want to focus on inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Sometimes if you give yourself an auditory feedback or an auditory cueing, when you're doing your exhale, for example, pushing the air out of your lips and making a sound, sometimes that can help you and just kind of give you that feedback if you're really not connecting with your body. And that adds a little bit of resistance to your breaths, so that can be something that you incorporate along the way. But you want to focus on inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, really pushing all of that air out until you feel like you can't push any more air out. And then you hold that right there for about 2 to 3 seconds until you can't anymore. You let it go, and on that big inhale, again, you will feel like it's a little bit easier to expand that diaphragm. So, like I said, give this a try, practice. If you're just laying on the ground and really just focusing on diaphragmatic breathing, relaxation breathing, it all kind of coincides. But this max core breath is more or less those few seconds of apnea where you can strengthen that diaphragm and get a better inhale and a better expansion of that diaphragm, so you can have better control of that intra-abdominal pressure. So hopefully this video has helped you, give you little tips and a little bit more insight on connecting to your core and your pelvic floor area, and hopefully this is something that you can continue to work on. Thank you.